Genetics is one of the most important aspects in a sport like basketball, right? Even more so if we're talking about today's game, where every player in the league has to be at least proficient on defense if they want to enjoy a long career in the NBA.
Still defense by Boston. Oh, and now Curry gets it right back from half court, and it's gone!
If not, look at Isaiah Thomas's case, a borderline MVP who was basically out of the league 2 years after his prime only because of his size. So the fact that many of the parents of NBA players were elite athletes or even professional basketball players is extremely common. In fact, we have the data. According to a Wall Street Journal article, 48.8% of players are related to current or former elite athletes. But within that group, which has been the most outstanding, which has been the best father-son duos to dominate the NBA? Let's talk about it. When we think of these duos, it's hard not to think of Joe and Kobe Bryant. The father of the Black Mamba was a really important role player during the second half of the 70s and the first half of the 80s. A player who, while never a spectacular scorer like his son, did manage to stay in rotation in a league where there were far fewer spots for players due to the limited number of franchises. Joe played in the NBA for 8 seasons, in which he represented 3 different teams: the Philadelphia 76ers, where he conceived his son Kobe, the San Diego Clippers, and the Houston Rockets. During this time, he managed to accumulate a total of 5,252 points in the NBA. And well, not that there's much to say about Kobe Bryant. The shooting guard is one of the best players and pure scorers we have ever seen in the NBA. A player who won 5 rings with the Los Angeles Lakers and rose to become one of the best players in the most illustrious franchises in history. The Black Mamba was not only the idol of an entire generation that was inspired by his incredible moves, footwork, and flashiness, but he also became one of the most influential players after his retirement.
Bryant goes to work. Bryant the drive.
In total, Kobe accumulated 33,643 points in the NBA, a figure that has allowed him to be, at the time, in the 3rd position of top scorers in the history of the league. So, the duo of Joe and Kobe combined for 38,895 points in the NBA, a figure that only LeBron James has been able to surpass. However, there are father-son pairs that have become somewhat underrated over time. One of them is, without a doubt, Tim Hardaway Sr. and Tim Hardaway Jr. The father enjoyed a successful NBA career, being selected to the All-Star Game 5 times, being selected 5 times in the All-NBA teams, and finishing 3 times in the top 10 for the regular season MVP. Although he finished his career as a journeyman, Hardaway Sr. was a player remembered for his stints with the Golden State Warriors and the Miami Heat. His crossover move was hugely pioneering in redirecting the aesthetics of the league, and in his 13 years in the NBA, he scored a total of 15,373 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. has never been able to match his father's status. He has not been an all-star, nor has he been a player capable of leading a team. But after exceeding expectations as a late first-round pick in what was considered one of the worst drafts in history, 2013, Tim has become a prolific scorer in the NBA.
Takeaway, Hardaway. Daniels dribbled into traffic.
For most of his career, he has been a machine gun off the bench, being able to score and break open games night in and night out. And at 31, he's already surpassed the 10,000 point barrier in the NBA, having scored 10,307. So this father and son duo has a total of 25,680 points in the best league in the world. Another very underrated duo is the one formed by Arvus and Domonas Sabonis. Arvus is a legend of European basketball who excelled in the Lithuanian and Spanish leagues before making the leap to the NBA at the age of 31, where he started playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. And the truth is that despite arriving late to the league, he had a really good career in which he averaged 12 points and 7.3 rebounds per game. But the most important thing is that he was a pioneer who opened the doors to many other European players. One of them is his son Domantas. He really has become, over time, one of the best big men in the NBA. A triple-double machine who has followed in the footsteps of Nikola Jokic to become a tremendously complete player in every aspect of the game. Although not a great scorer, Domantas has already accumulated over 9,000 points in the league at the age of 27. And with his style of play, it looks like the center will be playing in the NBA for many years to come. Another duo in which both players have had success has been the one formed by Michael and Klay Thompson. Curiously, the success has been inversely proportional to what was expected. Why? Well, Michael was destined to become a generational player. After being selected with the first overall pick in the 1978 draft, the Bahamian center was a player with incredible hype and expectations. However, a serious leg injury forced him to sit out his entire sophomore year. Michael managed to relaunch his career and even had an incredible season of 20.8 points and 11.7 rebounds per game in Portland that allowed him to get an MVP vote. And although he never returned to his best, Michael did win 2 NBA championships with the Showtime Lakers in the late 1980s. Klay, on the other hand, has been an even more proven winner. We are probably talking about one of the 3 best shooters in NBA history.
Klay Thompson, drop it in at 3.
Whose career average is an incredible 41% from long range. A scorer capable of everything, who has been selected 5 times for the All-Star game and who, of course, has been NBA champion 4 times. His 15,531 points added to his father's 12,810 points, totaling 28,341, are an amount difficult to surpass. But even more importantly, the 6 championship rings they have achieved between them make them one of the most successful father-son duos in NBA history. By the way, Michael Thompson, Klay's brother, played 5 games for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2011-2012 season. And if we talk about Klay, logically, we have to talk about one of the most famous father-son duos in the world, Stephen Curry and Dell Curry. Dell was one of the best 6th men in NBA history, finishing in the top 7 of the 6th Men of the Year award race in 6 different seasons, and winning the award in the 1993-1994 season with averages of 16.3 points per night. One of the best shooters of his era, who succeeded with the Charlotte Hornets, where he played the best years of his career. But logically, all of this has come to nothing if we talk about his eldest son. Stephen Curry is simply one of the most influential players in basketball history, if not the most influential. Not just because every kid in the world wants to be him, but because his skill set changed every offensive system in the modern NBA.
Inside, keeps his dribble alive. Now fakes, goes inside, layup, shot is good.
Basketball is played this way today because Steph proved it was possible. Not only is he an incredible scorer and probably the best point guard in history along with Magic Johnson, but he has also proven that his style of play is the most optimal in the NBA. His 4 championships prove it, in addition to his 2 regular season MVPs, his finals MVP, and the endless list of awards that he has won during his career. 10 times All-Star, 10 times All-NBA, and since last year, once Clutch Player of the Year. Between Steph and Dell, they have accumulated a whopping 36,338 points, a figure greater than Kobe Bryant's career total. But we can't forget someone. We can't forget Seth Curry, whose career has been much more similar to his father's than his brother's. But he has still managed to enjoy a good career, accumulating a total of 5,032 points that have increased the Curry family counter to 41,370, a figure that exceeds that of LeBron James himself. Now, while we are talking about LeBron, we have to talk about his duo with Bronny. The King is not only going to be the first NBA player to ever play with his son at the same time, but he is also going to be his teammate. And yes, Bronny's potential career is still unknown. It could be the case that he will be out of the league sooner than we think, but the truth is, for now, he has the opportunity. And he's also shown potential to achieve his goals, especially on the defensive end. If the guard manages to last a few years in the league and become a relatively important rotation player, there's no doubt that we'll be talking about one of the best father-son duos in NBA history.
He's got 16 points a game, 10 of them coming here in the 4th quarter.
Although for that, we will have to wait. But hey, that's just my take. We want to hear from you. Which is the best father-son duo in history in your opinion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're always breaking down the biggest stories and trends in the NBA, and you won't want to miss our future videos. And hey, while you're at it, smash that bell icon too. That way you'll be notified as soon as we drop new content. Trust me, with how quickly things change in the NBA, you'll want to stay up to date.